I'm kind of schlumming it today because it's really, really hot this weekend and I'm about to do some house chores and some other stuff. So I'm comfortable, not pretty today. So, or at least I'm trying to be comfortable and not pretty today. So whatever. Anyway, I wanted to do a quick intro to the August Gwynnie Bee lineup. I had some hits and misses this month and a little bit of a struggle trying to work around this weather. It's been hotter than typical. There were a few challenges with a couple of the outfits that I received in terms of trying to coordinate when I could wear it. There are a couple of shirts that haven't actually been worn yet because of the heat, so they're just kind of hanging out in the bathroom waiting for a cooler day to arrive. But let's take a look at what I received in August, and you can let me know if you've tried any of these things or what you think about them.
The Lane Double V Dress by Be Curvy by Bobo in size 1X.
So one of these days I'll find a place somewhere in my apartment where I can actually film without having, you know, the bed corner interfering or cats running by or whatever. As I'm looking at one of them over there. You can hear the other one in the other room. When I was reviewing this one online and taking a look at some of the feedback from people who had tried this dress, there were a lot of people who were voicing that it was kind of matronly in nature, and I can see that. I can kind of see where they're coming from. I kind of get the sense that this is almost like a throwback to a different era. There's a romance to this dress that I think is interesting, and I kind of like it. The colors on there I thought were blue and pink, but you know, once I received it, it's definitely more of a like a periwinkle, kind of edges more a little bit towards the blue lavender kind of palette. So I think that this could be potentially a really pretty dress for like a summer wedding, maybe a baby shower, or if you're looking for something that's just kind of light and flirty. It has that kind of draped romantic element to it. Kind of, in my opinion, harkens back to a different era. It is a pullover dress, and there's a little bit of a V in the back, so you get a little bit of skin showing there. And the armholes aren't too deep, which is nice. The one drawback for me on this one, and the reason why I'm not actually wearing this beyond the filming of this video, is that even though we've got like the loose drape here, the actual fabric around the top for me is very, very tight. So I might be able to get by with wearing it to work, but I think I would be pretty uncomfortable after a couple of hours. I mean, it's not restricting my movement, but it's definitely tight, especially around here. And I kind of feel like looking at it, the way that it's structured actually squishes my boobs down, so they kind of look like they're down here instead of where they should be. So I am sizing up in this one. I'm going to try it again in a size larger, and hopefully that'll accommodate this area without making this area too big. But we'll see if I manage to get it back, and of course if I do manage to get it back, I will certainly provide an update in a future video. But I don't know. I don't see too much wrong with this. I can kind of understand where they were coming from with the matronly aspect, but I don't actually mind it. I think it's pretty.
Baseball shirt dress in navy by Jet in size 2X.
I was a little bit worried when I closeted this one that it would end up being too casual for me, since most of the clothes that I'm really aiming for are things that I can wear to the office. I was a little afraid that I might be getting something that wouldn't quite fit into my needs, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I mean, even though the style of it is very casual in terms of coloration and it just kind of mimicking the idea of a baseball style jersey, the actual drape of the dress and the way that it fits seems pretty okay for my work environment. So it's not something that I would wear to a board meeting or to a formal kind of more formal type of day. If we have interviews or if there's some sort of presentation that I have to do, this wouldn't be my dress of choice. But I could definitely see wearing something like this with some cute summer sandals on a casual Friday and not having a problem with it. It pulls over, there's no zips, there's no ties, there's no fuss, there's no muss. It's not cut too low, but it's short sleeves, so it's not going to be really, hot. And the fabric moves easily. It's pretty comfortable. I like the colors on it. And this is actually a really easy dress to wear. So I was wondering what I was going to wear to work tomorrow, and this might actually be it. I like it. I like it.
Karina Nebula Fit and Flare Dress by Trist in size 2X.
Looking at this dress kind of makes me think a little bit more of fall than summer, and I think it's because of the colors on it. But I don't mind too much mixing up my, seasonal colors, especially in California where our seasons really are kind of the difference between hot and not as hot. So I don't mind that too much, but this is definitely more of a fall palette in my eyes. If you're looking to closet per season, this might be a fall dress for you. It definitely has kind of the golds and reds and plums of moving into the autumn time. There's something about this pattern, looking at it close up, it's got like a lace and floral pattern. There's something about it, looking at it from a distance, that makes me think of Chinese New Year. And I'm not entirely sure what that is. I know what Chinese New Year's is, but I'm not really sure what about this pattern makes me think about that. But there's something that, I guess, kind of glancing down with the eye that almost looks dragon scale like, and with the colors it kind of makes me think of Chinese New Year. I do like that the pattern is an all over pattern. The dress is a pull over dress. There's no zippers to mess with. I kind of wish there were pockets, but there are not. The one thing that I have a problem with, and it's with this particular dress style in this particular brand, is that the waist seam hits me in a funny spot because of the length of my torso. And so the waist seam always kind of hits me right in the middle of the stomach instead of, down a little bit lower around my waist, and that's always a little bit weird. I usually end up modifying the look a little bit with some shapewear to kind of smooth this area out a little bit, and that makes it good for a wearing or maybe two. But because of that being just an overall issue with this style of dress, it's not something that I would keep, but I don't mind it for one or two wearings. And this particular dress style with this particular brand, they have a lot of different fabric options, so I never seem to run out of being able to, have an outfit for a day or two at work, and really that's what I'm looking for. It is a little bit shorter than a 3/4 sleeve. It's like a half sleeve. It hits me on the elbows, and it's not tight, but it is definitely a little bit on the snug side in the arms. It'll be fine for me, especially if I'm only going to wear it once or twice, but do be aware that if you carry your weight in your arms, this might end up feeling snug to you, so plan accordingly and see what kind of dimensions you might need in case you need to size up for that consideration. But I mean, other than that, it's an okay dress. It's nothing that wows me or makes me super excited, but I do like the colors and I like the fit, so it'll be fine for a day or two.
Ombre Escape Shift Dress by Trist in size 2X.
Okay, so this one's a little disappointing, a lot disappointing, because this is a brand I've used before. It is one of the house brands. Did get it in my usual size, and this is just way too snug for me. So I don't know if this was still during their early period when they were trying to figure out their sizing, or if maybe too many wash and wearings has done something to this fabric or what, but this is definitely really, really tight. So I'm really sad because the colors in this dress make my inner hippie really happy, and I really wanted to have just this kind of fun, vibrant dress to wear, but I would feel really self-conscious in this considering how tight it is, and I think by the end of the day I would just be really, really uncomfortable, so that's not going to happen. It is not quite a 3/4 sleeve, but not quite a half sleeve. And again, I don't know if that's because something shrunk or if that's the way that this is designed. It is lined, and the lining is part of the reason why it's feeling very constricting. The lining feels really, really tight. It is a pullover, so there's no zippers or anything to fuss with, and it's not dipped down too low, so that's nice. So now I have to kind of decide whether or not I want to try and see if I can size up in this one and see what another size might do. It might be better if I were to loosen it up a little bit and have it not be so clingy to all of the things that I don't want clung. But this is definitely not a one and done. This is going to be going back unworn, and then I'll have to decide if I want to try it again. But I'm kind of disappointed. When I heard that this one was coming, I was actually really excited because I love the colors, but oh well.
Saddle stitch blouse in peach by Single Dresses in 1X.
So this one is a little bit more orange than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be more of a kind of a pale peach color, and it definitely has a peach tone to it, but it definitely leans more towards orange than what I would consider peach. It is a sheer blouse, and I wore a colored bra under this specifically just to see if it'll actually show up on camera. I don't know that it will, but it's pretty clear in person that this is actually a sheer blouse. So if you are getting this for an environment where that might not be appropriate, be aware that you'll probably need to put a tank top or a camisole or something underneath it. It's not too bad. It's not like a mesh, but it definitely has some sheerness to it. I like the sleeves. I kind of like the romance and the flow of the sleeves. The buttons at the cuffs kind of add to that. So when I was wearing this at work and on the drive home, just kind of feeling the air floating through it was kind of neat. And it is longer in the back, not by much, just a little bit. So if you've got a fanny concern, it'll cover that pretty well. The issues that I had with it, I don't like the center seam. I don't know if that's going to show. So I don't mind it up here by the collar, but I don't like the fact that it rolls all the way down. It makes the shirt kind of pucker in weird places. And I don't know if you can tell, but this fabric snags really, really easily. And so I'm finding both when it arrived and when I wore it, anything that kind of catches at it causes it to snag. So that's kind of annoying. The other issue that I had with it is that, and I don't know if this is an issue with the blouse or with me, but it seems as though this side, my right side, the sleeve on it is more snug. So I don't know if my arm is bigger on one side than on the other. I guess that's possible. But it definitely feels kind of tight and a little bit uncomfortable this way. So I had high hopes for this blouse. I thought it was really cute when I first tried it on, and kind of similar to something that I recently picked up from Stitch Fix that has kind of that same color palette and the slightly sheerness of it. But after wearing this one, I don't really like it very much at all. So I'm actually going to send it back, and that's one of the great things about Gwynnie Bee. You have an opportunity to actually wear something before you decide to buy it, and your opinion sometimes changes.
Painted Web Mock Neck Top by Alfani in size 2X.
My cats are pacing today, so you'll probably be seeing them drifting in and out throughout the video as I'm recording these outfits. But anyway, I'm probably aging myself a little bit on this one, but there's something about this blouse that reminds me of Harold in the Purple Crayon. Give me a thumbs up down below if you know what I'm talking about. Let me zoom in on this one so you can kind of see what I mean. So the background is actually navy. It's not black. I thought it was black online, and you know me, I don't read descriptions, so it might actually say navy. I don't know. I'll have to go back and see. I don't mind the color combination, and actually the fabric on this really surprised me. I thought it was going to be kind of a lightweight fabric, given that it's a sleeveless blouse, but it's actually a lot sturdier than that. It's more of a thicker knit. Not unpleasantly so. I was still able to wear it during the summertime in the office, but it just kind of surprised me. It's a little stiffer than I was expecting it to be, and that might be because of the way that it's structured with the collar. Now there is a zip up in the back that's a partial zip to help kind of support the fact that it's got the higher collar. But I do like the fact that the high collar isn't constricting. It's not going to wrap around your neck unless you have a thick neck. You might need to accommodate for that. But if you've got kind of a standard neck size, then it's not going to, you know, choke you off. But it kind of mimics the idea of a mock turtleneck, which I think is cute. And I like the length of this. So I was actually able to wear this with some crop jeans on a casual Friday at work, and it was really, really cute with some sandals, but still looked professional enough for an office environment, which I liked. And it was pretty comfortable, pretty breathable. Armholes weren't too deep, so I didn't feel as though I had to wear a cardigan with it, which would have kind of defeated the whole purpose of having a sleeveless shirt for summertime. And yeah, I was okay with this. I'm not crazy about the pattern now that I've seen it in person. It's a little bit, the purple is a little bit brighter than I had anticipated, and I'm not so much a fan of the navy. I do wear navy fairly often, but I think I would have preferred this had it been black, purple and black. So because of the fact that I'm not too thrilled with the actual pattern on this, I'm probably not going to keep this for more than the one wearing that I've already done with it. But I actually like this a lot better than I had anticipated when I pulled it out of the box, to be honest. When I pulled it out of the box, I was like, I don't know about this. But once I put it on, it was pretty comfortable. So if you like the colors especially, definitely give this one a try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Fit and Flare Dress and iCat Print by London Times in 20W.
So first of all, this is from London Times, which is one of the brands that I've discovered with Gwynnie Bee that I really, really like. Even on occasion when I've had a dress in a fabric or something that I didn't particularly care for, the fit of the dress and the flow of the dress has been spot on for me. I actually really, really like the way that that brand fits me, and this is no exception. So the dress was attractive to me because of the colors, number one, and number two, because it is a London Times dress. I was definitely willing to give it a shot. And the colors are no lie. It is a very bright, colorful dress, and I like it quite a bit. I like the way that it fits. I like the fact that the neckline is a little bit revealing, but not too revealing, so I could certainly wear it to work without any problems. The armholes aren't too deep, so I could certainly wear it as is without a cardigan on it. And honestly, because of the colors on there, I think the less extra stuff that's layered on, the better. I can imagine it being with, you know, just a couple of thin silver bangles and maybe some small silver hoops and just being done with it there. It does have a zip in the back, but as is typical with London Times and with me, the fabric is a little bit stretchy, and so it was no problem just pulling it on overhead, and I really like that. What surprised me a little bit about this dress when I pulled it out, again, because I don't read descriptions, so this might have actually been in the description, but the dress is actually a little bit more of like a knit fabric than kind of just that smooth, straight, like cotton or polyester blend fabric. And so it has a little bit of the dimpling that like a waffle weave pattern would have. I don't know if this is going to show up on screen at all. We'll have to kind of see, but it's got a little bit of the dimpling effect, and so it feels a little bit more like upholstery, tapestry type fabric, if that makes sense. It's definitely not that, but it feels more in that direction than like a summer cotton or cotton poly dress would feel, if that makes sense at all. So anyway, I actually really like this dress quite a lot. I don't think it's going to be something that I'm going to pay to keep, just because even though that I'm attracted to the colors and I think it's really fun, I don't see this being something that I would wear enough or as frequently enough to warrant really buying it at this point. It definitely wouldn't be a staple in my closet, so I don't really see the point on actually buying it for my closet, but I will definitely wear it a couple of times before I send this back. So
Border print peasant top by Lucky Brand in 2X.
this appeals to my aesthetic completely. It's loose, it's flowy, it's casual, it's comfortable. It's got good coverage, but it's not heavy. Very lightweight, very slightly sheer, but not enough that I would have to, really worry about wearing something extra coverage underneath it. And it appeals to my whole inner hippie, laid back lifestyle. So I really like this one a lot. It's super comfortable. It is something that I could, put together with some slacks and wear to the office, especially on a more casual day where I don't have a lot of meetings and I'm just basically doing desk work. So this could definitely work for that. And it could very definitely work for, casual weekends. In fact, I have a concert coming up next weekend, and it is an outdoor concert, and I think that this is going to be perfect with it, with some jeans and some boots. So I've already got plans for it, at least for 1 or 2 wearings. So it has elastic on the wristbands, so there's no constriction there. And it's got some seaming along the sleeve here at a midpoint, so it almost has kind of that Edwardian seam sleeve feeling to it, but it doesn't, it's not quite that constricting, so it's not quite that structured, but it kind of has that feel to it. And the color combination on there seems perfect for kind of that end of summer moving into fall seasonal time period. So I like this one a lot. I might actually have to check to see what the price is on this, because I could see me getting a lot of wear on this coming season. So if it's not too expensive, this might be staying with me.
Velvet mock neck top by Style & Company in 2X.
So this one is definitely a cool weather top. I did get this during a heat wave, so it took me a few weeks to actually have an opportunity to wear this, and it was still probably a little too warm yesterday when I wore it to work, but since I'm in an air-conditioned office, it actually wasn't too bad. It was just a little bit warm in the transition from office building to car in the afternoon. In general, it's pretty comfortable, and I do kind of like the kind of old style sleeves, the romantic sleeves, and the velvet texture, and the way that fits and flows. What I didn't really like about this is the neckline. I do like the fact that the velvet comes up to this point, so it's pretty comfortable to wear, but I don't really like the height of the neckline. It feels a little severe to me, and so there's an element of kind of Morticia Adams with this, which if you like that, that's cool. For me, it was just kind of a little bit too much. I did end up wearing this with jeans and just some kind of pastel accessories to kind of brighten it up a little bit and make it so that it's not quite so heavy. But in general, I think that my biggest issue is just the neckline. I wish that it wasn't quite so slightly mock turtleneck, not quite to that extreme, but it is in that vein. And to me, I found that to be very kind of constricting. There's no zipper with this. It's just a pullover, and it's pretty long, so I appreciate that. And so if you are somebody who doesn't mind this style of neckline, this could be a really cute fall piece with some leggings and some boots. Just, again, with a pop of color with the accessories to just keep it from being quite so severe. You might enjoy this. But for me, once was enough. I'm going to go ahead and send this one back.
The High-Low Pocket Dress by Landa Kerr by Dora Landa in a 2X.
Well, so this dress is not quite what I was expecting based off of the online view. Number one, it's a lot darker than I was anticipating it being. I thought it was going to be kind of more of a cornflower blue, and it's definitely edging into deep teal territory here. And one of the things that the reviews mentioned was kind of how noisy the polyester is. It definitely harkens back to the old parachute days in grade school, you know, when you used to lift up the parachute and hide underneath it. It's definitely kind of that parachute-y material. Nice thing about it is it does have pockets, and they do feel kind of like they're in the right place, but the dress overall is just really kind of big and tent-like, so I can definitely see how people were put off by that. For me, in my 5-foot height, the length of it is just a little bit too long. The points on the hem, which is kind of a shark bite hem kind of styling in the back, but the points are pretty much touching the base of my feet, so it's a little bit too long for me. I did go ahead and wear this with some leggings at work on a really hot day, and I think I kind of got away with it for that because it was definitely one of those days where it was just kind of too hot to function, and you were kind of getting by with what you could. So I wore this to work on that day, and I think it was okay as a pass on that particular situation, but this is definitely way bigger and way less cute than I was anticipating it being. So one wearing and it's going back, and I'm not sorry to see it go. So beware if you decide to try it. If you are a shorter gal, it may not be for you. And again, just be aware of kind of the noisy fabric.
Dress in Coral Palm Print by Julian Taylor in 20W.
So there's a lot to like about this dress, especially in this warmer weather that we're having moving into the fall season. What I like about it is definitely the pattern. It's a very pretty dress, and with the sleeveless nature of it, it makes it easier to wear during warmer weather, but it's still demure enough that I could wear it in the office without feeling as though I needed to cover up, although I probably will, and I'll explain why in a second. But I definitely like the pattern of it. It is a lightweight dress without being flimsy, so there is some weight to it. I'm not feeling as though I have to panic about it being, you know, super sheer or unlined or anything like that. It's got some weight to it, but it's not super heavy, which again, in this heat, I wouldn't want to wear something that was, you know, super close knit. The fabric moves really well. It's very comfortable. It is a little bit long for me, but that's typical for me as a shorty. That usually happens for me. So I'm used to it. It's probably a little bit longer than I would like, but it'll be okay for a wearing or two. It does have a gold tone zipper in the back, but I didn't need it. I was able to pull it right on over. And there is kind of a little V kick pleat in the bottom. I don't know if that's going to show up on camera, but there's a little bit of extra room in the skirt, so you don't have to feel constricted. My one problem with this is not uncommon with dresses. I do size up in dresses because my lower is bigger than my upper, and the result of that is that usually, in a lot of cases, the upper portion of the dress ends up really being too big. In a lot of cases, it's not an issue. It just kind of looks a little bit, you know, like there's a little bit of extra room in there, but it's not too big of an issue. With this particular dress, because of the way that it's cut, the upper area definitely feels really loose. You might even be able to see it here. So it's kind of sliding around a little bit on me, and that is why when I wear this to the office, and I am going to wear it once because I think it's really pretty, but when I do wear it to the office, I'm going to need to wear a cardigan over it just to kind of, you know, help block any bra exposure or too much shifting around. I'm hoping that the cardigan will kind of help keep everything in place. So because of that, this isn't a 100% winner, but aside from that being an issue, I sure do like this dress. So if you're taller than I am, or maybe bustier across the top, then this might be something that you want to consider, not just for office wear, but potentially for summer events. If you've got a wedding or something like that that's going to be occurring next spring, summer, wedding, graduation, something like that, this might be something to snap up ahead of time because it sure is pretty.